Hey guys, this is Manshark Sub LPs. I'm Sub, this is Crusader Kings II, and this is Millennia in the Making episode 40. Let's just check that I got that right, I should have. Yep, 40, great. We're playing as King Ulrich, the Great of Bavaria, Pomerania, and Bohemia, and he's the son of King Ludolf the Great, who himself was the son of King Otto, our original character. Let's just get this unpaused. We're really not involved in too much today. We've got a little alliance war going on. Hang on, we'll deal with that in a moment. We've got an alliance war going on where the West Francian is waging war against Aquitaine for Amiens, but we're not getting involved in that because they've won it, seriously. Anyway, we have picked up Brunhild, the Maid of Olomouc, I believe, and she requests an audience. So Brunhild has come before you, asking to speak to you at the council. She says that the military establishment seems trapped in old doctrines, and that the commanders would benefit from more offensive thinking, as well as more religious schooling, of course. There is grumbling from some of the assembled nobles at her speech. So, thank you, Brunhild, that's a good idea, which is plus 30 piety, plus 50 military tech, which would be well received, but many of the lords of the realm will be angry with me. When I need your advice, I'll ask for it. We get 30 prestige, she loses 30. And enough of this insolence, arrest her, which she gets arrested. I think this is a good idea. The nobles may not like us for it, but fortunately, apart from the Duchess of Austria, most of the nobles that matter like us quite an amount. Yes, and there isn't enough for them to throw their votes around. Okay. So thank you, Brunhild. That's a good idea. And up pops our military tech. We're so close to this now. We're really close. That has helped us out so much. That was... oh, geez. Almost a year and a half worth of technology in one go. Yeah, so see, she's got another minus 25 against us for being angry. Yeah, it looks like they've all got a minus 25 opinion penalty against us for anger, which will hopefully go away at some point, but even with that, some of them are still sitting at, 100. So that's alright. Okay, let's unpause that game. Now, one thing that I thought about last night while I was thinking about this sort of stuff. Oh, we're just getting a bunch of crap showing up. My son, not my heir, but one of the twins, has become a fortune builder. And the other one has become a tough soldier. They're not exactly... well, he's pretty good at being a steward. Alright, let's get Prince Adalbert here married off, because Prince Ulrich is already betrothed to the heir of Thuringen. Which, if we send him off, he may honour. He should honour it. But, whatever. But, as I discussed last episode, or the episode before that, previously, these two twins are going to get these two counties here. One's going to get Artois, one's going to get Trenton. Excuse me. Because Prince Ulrich is betrothed to Agnes, he may not honour that marriage. He should. But he may not. But we have to marry Prince Adalbert off to somebody. So, let's have a look at our options. The Petty Queen of Cornwall. The actual Queen of Cornwall. Huh. She's more a Duchess, but sure. And the Duchess of Toulouse, Valois. The Duchess of Toulouse, which would get us... oh, she's also the Duchess of Valois. Huh. That one sounds pretty good. Unfortunately, they are still all children, so it's going to be a betrothal which he could break. Let's have a look at what we have available in the 16-year-old department. Yes, we're shopping for brides. Courtiers. No. Oh, heir of a county of Surrey. Don't care about Surrey. It's in England. The barony of San Pedro de Paris, as well as having an awesome name. It's a barony. Yeah, there's really not much here. See, when we're hovering over them, you get the little air thing pop up immediately. You don't have to wait for the age, opinion, and religious head thing. But yeah, it doesn't look like any of these heirs to anything. So the Duchess of Orleans, sorry, not Orleans, of Toulouse and Valois would be a good one. Yes, yes, excellent. No political concerns. Maybe he should have. And we just have to wait for 6 days for that to come in. We are getting the unlanded sons penalty, and that's fairly significant now because there are 2 of them, being twins. And we are getting a bunch of factions forming. Very small factions though, so it doesn't matter. But everybody is a little angry with us because, you know, we got our military tech up. We've succeeded with our plot to kill Yves Carling. Unfortunately, she was caught and revealed my complicity before she was hanged. Where's Bernard Carling? So he's 3rd in the list. Goes Alliard, Agnes, and then Bernard. Maybe... I have no idea. Oh, whatever. I don't particularly... Oops. There's not... We're in Aquitaine there for a moment. I'm not particularly concerned. I don't want to kill off too many Carlings because then they will all ally against me when the time comes. At this stage, East Francia... Well, we're going to be declaring on East Francia. At this stage, La Phrygia will join in, so that's a problem. Okay, there we go. That betrothal came through, so let's just give out Adalbert and Ulrich to their little places. So Adalbert here is a nice soldier, so he should have one with more men in it. So that one has 1188, this one has 713. So Adalbert gets Trenson. Grant landed title, Trenson. Done. He's left my court. That's alright. And the other one, Ulrich, gets Awa. Sorted. Now, however, we are missing a court chaplain. So we'll hire on the... I think the Prince Bishop of Bremen, just to get his opinion up a little bit. There we go. And we don't have anywhere in our realm which is not Catholic. We don't want to convert the infidels because then we can't declare war on them very easily. So, I think cultural tech... Does the Pope still like us? Yeah, the Pope loves us. We're good buddies with the Pope. So, cultural tech in Oberbayern. There does eventually get to be a point where putting your councillors to spread cultural tech or economy tech or military tech doesn't work. And that's when you're so advanced that you're not getting any accrual. We're almost at that point with economy. You can see here we barely get any progression with economy because we're advanced in 3 of the 6 things. But, you know, we don't actually have a steward researching economy. He's taxing people. So we're only getting a little bit of progress from the spy masters. But the councillor thing adds a multiplier to that bonus, not a flat bonus itself. So, you know, no point putting your councillor there to provide a multiplier effect if he's not actually providing multiplier effect. We have lost a little bit of our personal levies because we gave those 2 counties away, but that's alright. A lot of factions forming. I think we're going to be alright though. they're all very small factions, and they don't have enough support to do anything. Excuse me. Duke of Carinthia is yet again being a vote slut. The Pope might send us money if we asked him for it. 300 gold for 100 piety. And we can also request, you know, a vassal become a bishop or something. You know what? We're going to ask for money off him. So in about 7 days we should get that. Nice little bit of cash. It's kind of a handy thing. Oh, no. He has rejected this to the deplorable King Ulrich. Come on, bro. You love me. Look at this. May your years be short and miserable. Fuck you too. Your request for 208 gold. I didn't request for 208. I requested 300. Is denied. I doubt you would use the money to aid the faith. Fucking asshole. Good thing we have plans for the Pope. But, speaking of plans, East Francia. We still can't usurp it, one, because he's at war with King Friedrich of Jorvik. That should end fairly soon. The King of Wessex is beating that guy up pretty handily. But, all of this time we've been gunning for the main kingdom title. Which, interestingly, is going badly for him. Because it goes to the map Balduin de Rohan's. We can't kill him. Can't really kill her. What's she part of? The Breton Revolt. Huh, interesting. So these kids are the ones there. We're not particularly interested in them getting this title. I mean, it'd break the whole Carling thing and we could go to war with them and it'd be great and all. But we don't actually have all that many reasons to go to war. Just this claim on Thuringen. So, what I wanted to do today was to have a look at the various duchies in East Francia and see if any of them had claimants that we could, you know, mess with. So, Swabia first. This nice little area down here. We already own one province in it. So, let's see. We could invite the Steward of Franconia to court. He would accept. And then we could press his claim. But that wouldn't really help us because we don't get any of that. Like, he's not in our realm or anything like that. What we could do is bring him over, find him a county somewhere, probably after we conquer some pagans to have. Speaking of, though, we can stop monitoring this guy. We were monitoring him because we were going to marry him at some stage. We did marry him. All good. Let's have a look at these counties. So we've got the county of Württemberg. It's got a bunch of claimants. 2 of which will come to court. 3 of which will come to court. 1 of which is the Count of Göttingen himself. Really? Why can't we press a claim? Let's have a look at this guy. Okay, here's a weak claim on the county of Württemberg, and that's why we can't press it for him at this stage, because Württemberg is held by this guy, who is obviously not a weak claimant. Let's see, Retold is that guy, and then it comes to Kriemhild, who is this one. Alright, so no, we can't murder anybody. We have a really bad intrigue stat to be doing this sort of plotting. Let's have a look at Fürstenberg. Apparently there are no claimants for Fürstenberg. Wonderful. How about Franconia? We already own 1 province in it. So let's have a look. Check out claimants. There are several courtiers in Franconia who have... This Bruno guy seems to have a lot of claims. Oh wow, there's actually a lot of people who have claims on this thing. Let's have a look at this Bruno guy. Okay, so he's just got weak claims on Swabia and Franconia. None of those can be pressed at the moment. Oops. Because the current Duke of Franconia isn't really... Oh, you know, if we plotted to murder this guy, we put Hedwig Conradina into the duchy title. She's not a great individual, she's a depressed drunkard. Wonderful. Then what would happen there is we could press those claims, because it would be, you know, against a female, and you can press weak claims against women all the time. That's for the duchy, though. Let's have a look at some of the provinces. So Wurzburg here. Siegfried the Marshal of Wurzburg. Yeah, he's not great, and he's a Carling, so no. What about Leiningen itself? The Duchess of Lower Lorraine. She can't be invited to our court because she's a landholder in another realm. And nobody's a claimant for Prince Bishopric of Mainz. What about the County of Nassau? Hartwig here, who is almost dead. He does have a weak claim that can be inherited by his successor, who is also called Hartwig. That's pretty cool. I'm not particularly interested in Colne, because Colne is full of Prince Bishoprics. What about Baden? The Duchy of Baden. Bunch of claimants, most of them can be invited. That's exceptional. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. The County of Bresgau. All of these people can't be invited because they're all landholders. So that's irritating. And the County of Baden itself? Nothing. Alright. So, if we have a look at it, I don't remember what we need. So let's go to de jure and just count how many there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 counties in East Francia. We need to hold 12 of those. We currently hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. That's Italian. So we would need at least 2 more duchies. Or would we? We've already got a thing for Thuringen here, a weak claim that we could press on Thuringen, so that puts us up to 9. So after that we need 3, which is either Franconia, Colne, the rest of Colne, or the rest of Swabia. Or the other province in Thuringia and Baden, which gets a little weird. I probably miscounted that, actually. I think I counted Schwyz here as being part of... Alright, let's have another look. I apologise for you guys having to listen to me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Right, we only need 11. That changes things slightly. So, Thuringia would put us up to... How many did I say we had? 8. So Thuringia puts us up to 9. So after that we only need 2 more, which is Swabia. Much easier to get at than Franconia, because Franconia is in the middle of everything. So either Swabia or Colne. And let's just have a look at these places. There are claimants here. None of them will move. None of them can move. And of course there's always the actual Prince Bishopric title, which can't be shifted at the moment. Now the idea is that if we take a duchy title for somebody and that somebody is one of our people, we don't get the land, but we get de jure claims that we can press on that land. Yeah, I'll have to definitely give this one some thought, but Thuringia is definitely coming up. Nope, it appears we can no longer press that claim. Wait a minute. Sure we can. We just come here and claim it like that. But we would be... it's telling us that we can't press it because of the truce, I think. That's alright. So that's the next plan, but we do want to just kind of get in a little bit on some of this, so... Were there any nice looking individuals here? Our own fried here is 58, so no. We're told the court chaplain is 18, so that could be a good one. Unfortunately, he's also ambitious, and I don't like having ambitious individuals. Let's have a look at... What's this? Furstenberg? Oh, Furstenberg was not happening. And the Pope won't grant me claims on any of this stuff. Come on. We're just going to have a little bit of a click around to try and see if the Pope would grant us any claims on places. He needs to have a negative opinion of the individual, which is very hard to do, to have the Pope hate you. And we can't even do anything with Prince Bishoprics, of course. Yep, so we're not really getting anywhere with that, so let's check some duchies. Nope. This may be tedious, but, well, it's part of the game. So, you know, you can just not do this if you really want to. It's not a big part of anything, and we can't do anything with the Prince Archbishopric because it's a religious thing. Okay, so... we're going to get this guy. And yeah, he'll move across because, well, he likes us more than he likes his current liege, and I'm actually able to press his claims, whereas Count Engelbrecht is not. So he'll show up in a few days. Lovely. Let's go back to the pretty map view. As we wait for our retinue to reinforce nicely. Yep, so he's turned up in court. Good on him. And he's brought along his lovely wife. Excellent. His wife, actually, is better than he is. See, he only has a strong claim on the county of Württemberg, which can be pressed. Excuse me. Whereas Bircht here has a strong claim on the Duchy of Franconia. We can't give her any landed titles at this stage, though, because she's a woman. These two need to have a child. When they have a child, I'll murder them both, and the child can inherit the claims. Or something like that. But in the meantime, so that was those places. Let's try and get a claim on the county of Nassau. And we're going to do that by taking our Chancellor and telling him to fabricate claims there. Very small chance. It's, what, a 6% chance? Yeah, it's not great, and we do have better diplomats, but fuck it. Bishop Ludwig of Regensburg claims that he would be a better court chaplain than Prince Bishop Ernst. 13 and 11, so only slightly. And the Prince Bishop is more important, so give him a chance. I'm all about giving people chances. That's what I do. So yeah, the next war is probably going to be in for Thuringen. But while we're waiting for that to happen and for our technology to increase and all that sort of stuff, apparently Brynhilde has something to say. Brynhilde and the Church. Your court chaplain Ernst approaches you one morning for a candid conversation. My lord, there is much displeasure among the clergy at the elevation of this young woman, Brynhilde. The things she says are considered heretical by some in the church, and others, frankly, see their positions threatened by one of such low birth and meagre schooling gaining so much prestige. I would advise you to consider whether it is worth protecting this young lass at so great a potential cost. Please remind these clergymen who is king, which is, the clergy gets a bit upset with us. Or very well, we will put her on trial and see if she is a heretic, which we imprison her. I know this is kind of a trade, like this is obviously the trade-off here, you know. She is so good at what she does. I mean, look at that. 33 martial. It's insane. But, well, there is this kind of trade-off where people are going to be upset with me. But I really don't care about the priests being too upset with me. Though they are already angry. But remind them who is king. Me. And see, now they've got another minus 25 opinion malice against me. Well, some of them do. Some of them don't. Or whatever. And the Pope's doing fine. Pope should have sent me that money. I remember that. Yeah, I'm going to remember that, Pope. Speaking of the Pope, while we're waiting, let's talk about Crusades. Crusades don't start, like, at the start of the game. Even though it's called Crusader Kings, Crusades are not available at the start of the game. There are certain triggers that have to be met, or criteria that have to be met for the Pope to be able to call Crusades. It works like this with the jihads for Muslim faiths, but that already apparently happened. War's over. Good. Let's see if there's anything I can do in the meantime. No. Could buy indulgence for my sins, but fuck that. I'm doing fine. And just keep an eye on these factions. All single members. It's not a faction if it's only one dude. Anyway, so there are, 4 different criteria that one of these need to be met for the Pope to be able to call Crusades. The first one is the easiest. The year is 1090 and Jerusalem. I'm not sure if it's the actual kingdom or the duchy. It's probably the kingdom. But if Jerusalem is not held by Christians, and the year is 1090, the Pope can start calling Crusades. Alternatively, if the Byzantine Empire is not Christian, or if Thrace, which I think is somewhere down here, Thrace or Ankara are not held by Christians, or if both Athens and Corinth are not held by Christians, then the Pope can start calling Crusades. That's called Byzantium falling, that particular criteria. It's quite evocative. If Rome is not held by a Christian, or if it's held by a heretic, the Pope can start calling Crusades. If Europe is threatened, which is if either Provence, which is somewhere down here I think, Toulouse, Paris, Cologne, or Braunschweig are not held by Christians, doesn't matter what kind of Christian, but as long as they're not held by a Christian, then the Pope can start calling Crusades. So we haven't met any of those criteria yet. The easiest one is just if the year gets to 1090 and Jerusalem is no longer held by the Byzantine, because currently the Duke of Jerusalem is, well, part of that. But I think it's for the kingdom title, so if the kingdom title doesn't exist, it's the money from my steward. If the kingdom title doesn't exist, then, well, I'm pretty sure that fulfills the criteria. I think we should have a tournament. Just to, you know, get the nobility back on side a bit. I've sent forth messengers around the realm to spread the word that a grand tournament should be held. The tournament begins soon. If we go to war, in the meantime, that tournament is ended. Because, you know, matters of state, etc. So we're just going to sit back and enjoy the show. That truce with the East Francian will wear out in about a year. So that's good. Anyway, for those interested, there are also 5 conditions for the jihads to start, one of which has obviously happened. We've got a grandson. Excellent. He's a bit sick, but, you know, deal with it. And those criteria are, the first one is the one which will probably happen in every single game, and it's kind of one where it's like, if none of these other ones have happened by this time. If the year is 1187, and there is a caliph, they can start calling jihads. Alternatively, if Jerusalem is held by a non-Muslim. Alternatively, if Mecca is held by a non-Muslim. And alternatively, if either Baghdad, Damascus, or Cairo are held by non-Muslims, or if Marrakesh, Tunis, or Al-Djar, which are in Africa, are held by non-Muslims. The one which has happened in this game is, well, the fall of Jerusalem, which is that Jerusalem was held by a non-Muslim because the Byzantine took it. The influence of Benhild. These are unusual times. Benhild's influence is felt all around, wherever you go. There is a surge in religiosity among the commoners who see her as a national saviour and almost a Christ figure. Among the nobles, many are charmed by her pious innocence and energetic zeal, in spite of most of them also viewing her as a dangerous upstart. Meanwhile, the clergy is divided, some seeing a heretic and others a saint. Well, 30% chance of us getting cynical, which we don't want, or we should all try to be like her, which gives us some more piety. I'm liking this event chain. I mean, it's pissing off the nobles, but I'm liking it. It's been pretty good to us so far. And other religions do get the equivalent of crusades. Pagans get a great holy war. Tournaments beginning. Last for 2 months. Yeah, pagans get a great holy war, which the only criteria for that is if they have a reformed religion and if both the Christians and the Muslims have their crusades and jihads unlocked. This woman is complaining about her cell. Oh, she's Slavic, so I don't particularly care. The Zoroastrians can start declaring great holy wars as soon as they restore something called the Moabdan Moab, which I think is their great temple. And the Judaic faith can start calling great holy wars as soon as they restore the Kohen Gadol, which is their great temple in Jerusalem, I think. So the Jewish faith has the hardest time with that. Because, well, I mean, Khazaria is doing wonderfully in this particular game, but they still have to come all the way down here to Jerusalem and then spend money and all this sort of crap. It's a pain in the ass, is what I'm trying to say. Pretty sure we still have a truce with this guy. Yeah. My liege, your guest, Voldemar von Dobsina, has tragically been wounded during the tournament. So there's the wounded trait. That's fine. Most unfortunate. We want to be sympathetic with all of these. You can, I think, don't bother me with such details. Doesn't tell you if anybody else gets wounded, but I like to be, generous. Sort of stuff. So most unfortunate. This guy is the winner. He truly deserves it. I get an opinion boost against him, which I didn't really need. Although I was not triumphant in the many melees, I was good enough to be declared second. Wow. I've never actually won one of my own tournaments. Well, not won, but placed in one of my tournaments before. So I get 75 gold and 250 prestige. And Count Isenrak of Passau fought his way to third place, and fought hard he did. Awesome. So that recoups some of the loss, because we had to pay 200 to get that going. And the tournament is over. And look at that. There are more opinion changes here than can fit on the screen. But basically everybody gets plus 10. It's not enough to mitigate the huge penalties that we're taking for having, Proto-Joan of Arc over here. But, it's good. It's good. Every little bit counts. We just had a faction disband from it. The Independence faction is getting up a little bit. That's irritating. But 5.8%, it's fine. I'd like for them to rebel, actually. Right now. A common girl from Olomouc, so obviously this is about Benhild again. Your Chancellor, Karl Conradina, comes to see you, a look of worry on his face. He explains that there are increased grumblings among the nobles regarding the position of your protégée Benhild. Many of them refuse to accept that a low-born woman from Olomouc, however competent and pious, be continuously given so many privileges normally reserved for nobility. It sets a bad example for the peasants, and may cause unrest, they fear. There have also been numerous incidents of perceived insults and scandals of protocol between Brynhild and various prestigious army commanders. It seems many nobles feel they have suffered her too long, and some still entertain the idea of demanding her arrest and trial for heresy. Bah! Their own incompetence makes them envious. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. That's another minus 25 opinion with everybody, which we can't actually take at this point. It's too much. And Brynhild will receive an event. I don't know what that event is. I will force her to speak more humbly henceforth, which is she loses 100 prestige. She can't afford it, but she's not all that important in terms of score. Not noble enough? Bring her before me, and I shall knight her. Oh, we might actually do that one. And I cannot abide this any longer. Put her in chains. We're going to knight her. Bang, she's a member of a Gladius Christi family, which, interestingly, doesn't have any other members. It's one we just made up. We knighted her, gave her a noble family for the sheer purpose of saying, fuck you nobles. Fuck you, she's good enough. Unfortunately, that noble house will not go very far because, well, she's celibate and chaste. Chaste doesn't matter too much, it's a minus 15, but she's celibate, so, you know, minus 1,000. A 1,000 point modifier is Paradox's way of saying, no, you can't do that. It pops up a lot more often in Europa Universalis 4 than it does in Crusader Kings, but when it pops up, you know what it means. Let's just check our vassals. Yeah, maybe we could have sacked that 25 point difference, but I wouldn't want to chance it. And by sack, I mean, you know, soak, basically. So, we've covered a lot of ground today, it seems. We haven't really gone to war, which is surprising to me. Whittlesbark finished building its keep, so it's got a few more men to give me. And we'll just save up and buy one of these two in the future. Although we could also buy something in Andex, or finish off something in Munchen, if we get a lot more money. Man, I would love to declare war on this guy. He can't call these guys into the war, but that's because they can't already join. I think they're already involved. He will probably be able to call them both in, so that's annoying. We'll have to put the East Francian issue on hold for a little bit. Which leaves us with what? We can't declare war on the Hungarian for another 7 years. Poland only has 2 years left in it. And I don't care about the High Chief of Chernigov. So, Poland in 2 years. Otherwise, let's have a look at Lotharingia just quickly. The Allies list, that is. Okay, he can't call on the East Francian, and he maybe can't call on the West Francian. So maybe Lotharingia is the place to go. We do have those de jure titles down in the south. And we do outnumber them by 4,000 men, but we would have to raise everybody, and that's going to piss our vassals off. And it puts us into contact with the Byzantine, which isn't so bad a thing. We're going to be in contact with the Byzantine at some point anyway. And it doesn't give us any, you know, traditional Byzantine lands, so that's also pretty good. We are getting fairly close to, well, I say fairly close, we're actually quite a way away from forming the Wendish Empire. See, we only have 41% of the lands, we need 80%. So, yeah, we're not going to do anything there. This woman keeps on popping up. No, she's not my type, damn it. And the alternative is to come into Shalland, but then, well, we always have the alternatives of the pagan religions, but we want this tech increase first, which we're actually really close to getting. Another year and we'll have that. So we're going to move our troops up to Pomerania. Because we can't really knock these guys off. Which is irritating. Just while we wait for things to happen, I did a little experiment last night, that's what she said, and started up a new, fresh game of Crusader Kings. I was going to use it to help myself with mission planning for Death Watch. Hold up, we've just gotten some raiders show up, so we'll just go chase them off. In that I was going to copy down noble families and use them as characters and that sort of stuff, just to save myself a lot of like familial dynastic planning, which really wouldn't have come through in many things. We're just going to change up what's happening here. Amalric is in charge of a main flank, but Adolf would be better at leading the main flank. But we put Amalric in charge of this flank over here, because Adolf here has a leading the center trait. And anyway, yeah, so I booted up the game and just played it in observer mode, which if you want to know, to get into observer mode, you hit the tilde button to bring up the console. I'm not going to do it here, but then you just type in observe and go. And that puts your character into nothing. It can crash the game if you do something which requires a character interaction. For example, if you come here and click conduct diplomacy, it will wig the fuck out on you and just crash the game because it doesn't know what you're trying to do. But you can sit on this screen to monitor people all you like. And I just zoomed out and put it up to max speed and let it go. And we got to about 1200 AD before I, called it a night. And I gotta say, I was grossly disappointed by the performance of the Littlefinger's. They did manage to get themselves an independent realm in Saxony, but, well, a really tenuous grip on survival. Well, we're not going to be able to get there to beat them up, but we will be able to chase them off, and that's what's important here. Off they go. Wonderful. Now you come over here to Brandenburg. Yep. Despite appearances, there is no river crossing between Brandenburg and Sexine. Not at all. Which is bizarre. We do have a truce running out with the King of East Francia, but because he can call in every ally that he has, basically, we're not going to get in on that. Oh, this might progress efforts. We got 50 tech points from somewhere. Military. It was military. Done. Now, that has also increased our retinues. We don't have a lot of money at this moment. I mean, we've only got 165 gold, but we are increasing on that. So, let's see, we've got about 2,500 points to play with. We're going to get a knight retinue. Now, this is going to be expensive for a little bit, but we're also just going to move them up here. We're putting them in the center column. Ah, man. Knights. We can't get another one of those because we only have 900 points left in the retinue. Though that should have just increased slightly. I don't know, whatever. Because we upgraded the training grounds in Munchen just then. So yeah, we only have 900 points left, which if we could afford it would be another shock retinue, but we're saving those so we can get a second and then third heavy cavalry regiment. And now, the supply limits for pagan holdings are gone. You know what it's time for, guys? Well, we're going to start declaring wars before the end of the episode, but we probably won't be able to finish them because, well, what are we at? We're at about 44 minutes by my count, a little bit over that. So, not enough time to finish prosecuting wars. But we're going to declare the Pomeranian first. And it's going to be a lovely little We're not going to holy war for it, because then other Slavic rulers will join in, and we wouldn't get anything more than we would from a simple de jure claim. And that will actually help our little East Francian ambitions, not only because of the additional smallpox has broken out in one of our holdings, but it will help not just because we'll have more men to take on East Francia with, or the Carlings in general with. So blobby. Hate so much. Ah well, we'll deal with them. We have plans. Plans. Yeah, you know what? He doesn't have much of an army. Let's just get this one over and done with. So we start the move before we declare war, because that's what we're using retinues for. We'll declare on like the 10th or something. We'll give him 5 days warning. We're nice like that. This woman died in bed. Literally. Alright, wartime, bro. Yeah, de jure claim. So if we win this, we get the county, which is great. Done. We should have checked if he had any allies. He does, but... And he could call on most of them, which, you know, he will do. But they're all dukes and such. We could call on the West Francian. Now, this might be strategic here. Not as strategic as it could be, but if we call on him, and then we declare on the East Francian, he cannot join in that war on the side of the other guy. Or our side, I believe, because we've already got him into war. But we're not going to do that. We'll keep it in mind for the future, but at this stage we're not in the mood to declare on the East Francian. Also because West Francia is kind of... It does have 10,000 troops or so, so it is a bit of a problem that we have to mitigate. But while Lotharingia is hanging around, it's the big problem. It's a massive goddamn problem. Fortunately, I really hope that when he dies, he splits his kingdoms up. I really hope that he does, because they're all still running under Gavelkind. So what are these guys doing here? Sorbs. Is he in war with Sorbs? I should have checked that out. He is totally at war with Sorbs. Not in any wonderful degree. And let's just see what happens. Yeah, the controller will be Sorbs if that happens. We're not going to hang around there for too long. We're actually going to go and besiege his other places, which we can do freely now that we have this amazing supply limit. And we'll send our heavy cavalry in as well. We do want to avoid the heavy cavalry engaging anybody by itself, but, you know, it's fine. He called in some dudes from somewhere that we don't care about. These two guys, I think. Maybe. He's calling in a lot of people, but, you know, it's irrelevant. He is actually calling in a whole bunch of people. Let's see. Diplomatic relations. Everything red we're hostile to. It doesn't really, you know, matter. Why are these... Why are these green? Why is Maine green? That... I don't know. See, it tells you here that these ones are vassals of me, so this one here... Neutral? I know the blue is for an ally, but I don't know why the county of Maine is showing up green. I'm really not sure. Oh, I see. He has a potential target on me for something? Alright. Maybe it's just a threat thing. Whatever. He's not a threat if he's all the way over there. Okay, we had a bunch of factions disband at some point. Things are going alright. Things are good. How is our beloved daughter-in-law going anyway? Have you had children yet? I know he's a little slow, but seriously, it's not hard. It's not hard. In fact, that might actually be the problem. It's not hard. Wink. So we can't actually lay siege to 6-9 here because of these 10 dudes from Sorbs. If we really wanted to just take it, what we would do is say, alright, well, you know, we'll have your stuff as well. But we're not going to do that. My spy master is planning retribution against Count Ernst for having attempted the assassination of Ernst. So somebody tried to kill my son. Who is Count Ernst? Is he the guy in Nuremberg? Yes. Okay, so we either get a free 70% chance to imprison. Yeah, it is the guy in Nuremberg, which is much better than what we normally have. Or we can forgive and forget and get some piety out of it. We're going to order the arrest. And we're doing that as part of a realm consolidation thing. I don't know if that's actually going through, or if we have to wait on that. We can order his arrest normally because he has acted dishonorably towards me. This woman wants to kill somebody called Matthias, probably completely irrelevant because she has the possessed trait. Yeah, don't do that. Stop murdering people, Cecily. There we go. I'm going to order this guy's imprisonment, because I don't think that event has gone through. Okay, he's safely locked away in his dungeon. Lovely. He does have 2 children. I'd prefer that if he rebelled. Because if he rebelled, then I would be able to be all, well, you know, I'm gonna take your stuff then. Is Wolfgang? Wolfgang is for some reason under this guy. And you don't want to retract vassals or anything like that. We're not going to execute him either. We could banish him, but no, not particularly concerned. And we could always ransom him. Yeah, you know, we could ransom him, but the entire point of us imprisoning him wasn't to get money, it was to keep him from doing something. It was to try and get us Nuremberg, to be quite honest. Any Littlepfingers in the lineups? Oh, well, here's something we could do. She's 5. The guy that the Count tried to assassinate is 2. So let's arrange that. We're not going to lose any prestige. My son will, but that's alright. There. We've successfully destroyed his lineage by doing that, by the way. And that's because he can't have any more children while he's in prison. No conjugal visits, I've mentioned that before. He only has 2 daughters. She's sickly, so she might die anyway. Whereas Emma Ernst here, who seems to be doing alright, is now regularly betrothed to a Littlefinger. So the line of Ernst will die with her. I'm not vindictive. Yeah, he tried to kill my grandson, but, you know. It's not vindictive. Come on. Yeah, so this little irritant with the Sorbian should go away. It is irritating because, you know, 10 guys are stopping me from sieging the place for myself. But yeah, if it actually does prove to be an issue with the whole war thing, after I've occupied the other two counties that he has, then I'll just walk back over, declare war on Sorbs, and kick those 10 guys out. And take Sorbs while I'm at it, which is Lubers, which is actually part of Poland. We do need to work on East Francia. We only have about 66 years until this part becomes part of Bavaria, which isn't a negative thing, but it makes it harder for us to actually take East Francia. And we need that for the Holy Roman Empire thing. But, well, it's getting on time again. My daughter has aged up. She is an elusive shadow, zealous, honest, and just. She's got a pretty good intrigue stat. That's cool. Anybody to marry her to. The King of Georgia is always an option, but he's so far away that he probably won't, you know, get on board with any wars that we're having or anything like that. There doesn't really seem to be anybody down here with good, like, no kingdom alliances or anything like that. Oh, the King of Brittany. That is the King of Brittany. Huh. What do you know? Nobody on this list will do a matrilineal marriage, though, which is somewhat annoying. We could get an alliance with Byzantine yet again. You know what? We're going to do that, I think. 13. So it's only going to be 13 years, but an alliance with a Byzantine would be nice. Purely because then we can get him to help out with Italy. They won't do matrilineal, of course. We'll get a bit of prestige out of this, and more importantly, the alliance. Though, now here's the important thing. This kid is the heir to the Byzantine Empire. Yes. So even after the current emperor dies, we'll still have that alliance, which is good. Luitpold here. What? Apparently this dead guy is trying to murder Gunzel Conradina. Huh? And peace be with you if you accepted that particular offer. Lovely. We don't have the alliance yet because they're not actually married. They have to actually marry first. I don't think I want this to happen. Or do I? Actually, yes, I want that to happen, because if she dies, then the Littlefinger takes over Rostock and Rana. But we're getting on that time again, so if you have any questions about what I'm doing, how I'm doing things, what you're doing, feel free to ask them. Any comments about what's going on, leave them below the video. Like it if you liked it, and push the subscribe button if you'd like to see more. It's somewhere down there. I should really look so that I can give you more adequate directions, but I'm sure you can find it on your own. And, yeah. I've been Sub. You've been yourselves. Later.